Good soil family. How many times have you felt yourself gripping tight to outcomes, trying to make everything turn out just right? That's called control. Control feels safe, but a lot of times it's heavy. It can be very heavy. Today, we're going to talk about letting go of control, how releasing can actually bring more freedom, peace, and trust into your life. We try to control because we crave certainty. We think if we can just manage every detail, we'll avoid pain or disappointment. But the truth is, control is an illusion. Control is an illusion, and so is tomorrow. Life is fluid, people change, circumstances shift. When we cling too tightly, we only exhaust ourselves. Control has this way of robbing us of peace. It keeps us in anxiety, in overthinking, in perfectionism. We lose sleep. We become agitated. We become depressed. Sometimes it even hurts our relationships because we try to start, shaping others into what we think they should be instead of allowing them to grow in their own way. And this was my problem at one time in my marriage. My husband and I, we've been married a long time, and there's been a lot of lessons, a lot of valley experiences, a lot of growth. But our personalities are so different, especially in the public. He's very extroverted, life of the party type. And I like to have fun, and I'm a good hostess. However, I'm not as animated as him all the time. Like, he's on all the time in public. Like, he likes to joke around, he likes to laugh. And I used to be, when we first got married, especially, more serious, more subdued. I didn't smile as much. Yeah, like it was going to crack my face or something. But I used to try to control how he showed up in public. And I remember him saying this, and I don't even know if he really understood it, but he said this to me, and I'll never forget when he said, "You're trying to change who I am." And I don't even think then, we were younger then, right? So I still don't even think he really knew who he was. Like, who knows who they are in their 20s, right? Like I said, we've been married 41 years, but it still struck me. It struck me, and I found myself I paid attention to when he was saying that. And I found myself even back then, years ago, becoming more aware of that's exactly what I was trying to do, because I didn't feel comfortable in these situations. And his entire family is more animated than my family, actually. So I had to do some shifting, and I'll tell you, it was hard, and it took years, but I had to do a lot of shifting, and I found myself always looking at him and judging him for being who he was, instead of learning how to allow him to just be. And over the years, I've done a much better job with that. But also over the years, he's become more subdued. It's funny how things change. He's older, of course. So with wisdom, you kind of learn, you learn things, or you should be, right? You should be evolving into a better version of yourself. Doesn't mean that he still doesn't like to have fun in public, but he's just more, he knows how to pull the reins, I guess. Well, his own reins, without someone having to get in his ear. He is more aware and knows how to read the room a lot better and things like that. Still a very fun guy to be around. And I've also learned that it is okay to smile, and it is okay to laugh, and it is okay to be loose sometimes. Well, not loose, but you know what I mean. Let loose and just enjoy the moment. So through him, I've learned those things. But oftentimes in relationships, it doesn't even have to be a marriage. It could be your relationship with your children, trying to control them, trying to control who we are. And we forget that each one of us is here for our own specific purpose, and each one of us have to live out our own journeys. Now, of course, we wouldn't want our children to make any of the mistakes that we made, but they're going to make mistakes, and it's going to be okay. They're going to figure it out just like you did. Let them figure it out. And a lot of times we like to control things, like your child gets in a situation and you want to run to the rescue with the answer, but at the end of the day, it keeps you frustrated. It disrupts your peace, your schedule's disrupted, or you're giving money to your children that you really don't have to give. You're borrowing, robbing Peter to pay Paul just because you're helping your children out of a situation. And it's this whole cycle of chaos and mess. We create that for ourselves instead of allowing that our children will just figure it out, right? And those are just a couple of examples that I have, and I used to be that person too. I would just run to my children's rescue. Now, my children are doing well now. I have one that's he's younger, still trying to figure it out, but I'm letting him figure it out. Whereas before, I always wanted to have the answer, be the answer, run to the rescue. You need this. Okay, no problem. Here you go. But it's just not like that anymore. And it's not even tough love. It's just letting him figure it out. His journey is his journey. Letting him understand your decisions are where you are. You're creating your cycle. You're creating your mess. You're stuck in this mess because of the decisions that you're making. So it's like rinse and repeat because you're making the same decisions out of desperation. So anyway, control can rob us of peace. It keeps us in anxiety, overthinking, and perfectionism. And sometimes, like I said, it even hurts our relationships. But instead of trying to control others, and I've said this in other words just now, allow them to grow in their own way. Because at the end of the day, that's what life is all about. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It doesn't mean you're passive. It means you shift from forcing to flowing. Life should flow. You focus on what you can control, your choices, your effort, your response, and release the rest. That's where peace begins. That's where trust is built in God, in the process, in yourself. And you say, well, how do I do this? How do I release control? Well, you can do what I call a daily surrender ritual. And that's like each morning, get up and write down one thing that you can release into God's hands. What's one thing you can just release and let it take care of itself? Or you can practice sitting in prayer, or sitting in gratitude, sitting in retrospection, sitting in meditation. Literally open your hands as you pray or breathe deeply. It signals to your body and spirit that you're letting go. Practice gratitude over grasping. When you feel the urge to control, pause and name 3 things you're grateful for. And last but not least, trust the timing. Remind yourself, I don't have to rush what is already mine. Trust the timing. Ask yourself these questions. Where in my life am I gripping too tightly? What would peace feel like if I released it? So whatever it is that you're gripping, what would peace look like? What would it feel like if you released it? And what's one small thing you can let go of today, right now? What's one small thing you can let go of? These questions will help you uncover where control has been keeping you bound and where freedom is waiting for you. Control feels safe, but like I said, y'all, it keeps us bound. Surrender feels scary, but it actually sets us free. Remember, when you let go, your hands are open to receive something better. Trust the process and trust yourself. You're still growing. So, Good Soil family, if this message spoke to your spirit, share your reflections below. As always, I'd love to hear from you. What are you letting go of this week? Don't forget, like, subscribe, and join me here in Good Soil, where we're growing with grace and softness together. Hey, it's me, Sherry G. I just wanted to thank you again for spending this moment with me. If today reminded you that you're still growing, then we're doing something right. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that little bell so you never miss a moment of growth, grace, and good soil. Until next time, stay rooted, stay radiant, and remember, you're not done blooming yet.